Under the dense skies of prehistoric Earth, long before the rise of civilizations and written history, there was a day when the world itself seemed to gasp in fear. Around 74,000 years ago, deep within the Indonesian archipelago, a sleeping giant stirred. Beneath what we now call Lake Toba, a vast chamber of molten rock had been growing for thousands of years, hidden beneath the crust, biding its time. Then, in an instant that would change the course of human history, that pressure could no longer be contained. The Toba Supervolcano erupted, not with the fury of a mountain, but with the force of a continent tearing itself apart. Imagine the ground trembling so violently that entire forests crumbled like matchsticks. The sky tore open with a roar so deafening that it could be heard hundreds of kilometers away. Lava fountains shot into the air higher than skyscrapers. But it wasn't the lava that would decide the fate of life. It was the ash. Within hours, towering columns of pulverized rock, sulfur, and molten debris were blasted over 40 kilometers into the atmosphere, creating a shroud that began to spread across the planet. The sun dimmed, its warmth fading as a veil of volcanic dust stretched over continents. For the people alive back then, small, scattered bands of early Homo sapiens, the days turned colder and darker. Hunting became harder. Crops, where they existed in wild forms, withered. Animals struggled to find food. Entire ecosystems began to collapse.
The eruption was so massive that it's estimated over 2,800 cubic kilometers of material were expelled, enough to bury entire countries under a blanket of ash. In parts of South Asia, the ash layer was several meters deep, smothering landscapes and forcing humans to flee or die. But the most devastating consequence came not immediately, but in the years that followed. With so much ash and gas in the atmosphere, the Earth plunged into what scientists call a volcanic winter. Temperatures dropped by several degrees globally. For early humans, who had no shelters beyond simple huts or caves, this sudden cold was a catastrophe. Some scientists believe the population of our species may have been reduced to just a few thousand individuals, a genetic bottleneck that shaped the DNA of every person alive today. Others debate this, suggesting that while life was unimaginably hard, pockets of humanity endured in Africa and along coastlines where food from the sea offered survival. Still, the Toba eruption stands as one of the most powerful natural disasters in human prehistory, a force that not only reshaped the land, but may have altered the very path of human evolution. And while the survivors could not have known it, the lake that now lies quiet and beautiful in Sumatra is the silent scar left by a catastrophe that once nearly erased us from the earth.
In the years that followed, the world remained trapped beneath the shadow of Toba's fury. Seasons lost their familiar rhythm. Summers were weak, winters harsh and unrelenting. Dust and sulfur particles in the atmosphere scattered sunlight, painting the skies in eerie reds and purples, but offering little warmth. Plants that had once flourished in tropical heat now struggled to grow, forcing animals to migrate or perish. For humans, every day became a battle, not just against predators or rival groups, but against hunger, cold, and despair. Fires were no longer just for warmth or cooking, they were lifelines, the only defense against nights that seemed to stretch forever. Those who lived near coasts clung to the bounty of the sea, fish, shellfish, and seaweed, while inland groups relied on whatever roots, berries, or small game they could find. Many regions that had once teemed with life became barren, their soils choked with ash, Water sources grew toxic in some areas, leaving survivors to wander in search of clean rivers or springs. Generations passed in this altered world. The volcanic winter slowly loosened its grip, but its legacy was etched into the genetic memory of humankind. The survivors were not the same as those who had lived before. They had learned to adapt, to cooperate more closely, to share resources in ways that ensured the group's survival. In some areas, this hardship may have sparked innovations, better tools for hunting, sturdier shelters, and perhaps even early social structures that emphasized unity in the face of crisis. The world around them also began to heal. Ash-covered plains gave way to the slow return of grasses and forests. Animal herds gradually came back, followed by predators. And with the warming climate, humans expanded once more, pushing into new territories, carrying with them the memory of a time when the sky had darkened and nearly swallowed them whole. Lake Toba, serene and still today, hides the vast caldera of that ancient blast beneath its waters. Scientists study its depths and the ash it left behind, piecing together the scale of destruction and the resilience of those who endured it. The Toba eruption serves as a stark reminder that nature holds powers far beyond our control, powers capable of shaping evolution itself. And while we live in an age with technology, cities, and global networks, events like Toba whisper a truth across time, that in the face of the Earth's greatest forces, we are still small, still fragile, and still at the mercy of a planet that has seen and survived far worse than us. If this journey into our distant past fascinated you, tell me in the comments, do you think humanity today could survive something like Toba? And don't forget to subscribe to Prehistoric Medievals for more stories that bring the ancient world back to life.